Let's be real here. Most of us were raised to be accommodating, especially to men. But here's what nobody tells you. Psychology research from Dr. Brené Brown shows that people actually feel safer and more connected when clear boundaries are in place. It's kind of like this. Imagine driving on a highway with no guardrails. You'd drive super slowly and anxiously because you wouldn't know where the safe zone ends. But put up some guardrails, and suddenly you can drive confidently because you know exactly where the boundaries are. That's exactly what happens in relationships. When you don't have clear boundaries, men actually feel anxious about how to behave around you. But when you set clear boundaries, they feel secure because they know exactly what's expected. Dr. John Gottman's research backs this up. Couples with clear boundaries have 67% less conflict and report feeling more respected by their partners. The reason? Boundaries eliminate guesswork and create mutual understanding. I remember working with Sarah, who couldn't understand why her boyfriend kept making weekend plans without consulting her. She kept explaining how this made her feel, but nothing changed. Then we worked on setting a simple boundary. I need us to discuss weekend plans together by Thursday. If you make plans for both of us without asking, I won't be joining you. You wouldn't believe what happened next. Within 2 weeks, he was asking her opinion on everything and actually started planning romantic dates just for them. The boundary gave him a clear framework to work within, and suddenly he knew how to succeed in making her happy. The 3 types of boundaries that change everything. First, time boundaries. This is about protecting your energy and availability. Research from the University of Rochester shows that people who control their time report 40% higher relationship satisfaction. But most women think being available 24/7 shows love. Actually, it shows desperation. My cousin Lisa used to drop everything whenever her boyfriend called. Work meeting? She'd step out for his texts. Girls' night? She'd leave early if he wanted to see her. She thought she was being a good girlfriend, but she was teaching him that her time had no value. So we implemented basic time boundaries. She stopped answering calls during work unless it was an emergency. She committed to 1 sacred girls' night per week. She started saying, "I'm not available tonight," without over-explaining. The way I see it, what happened next was pure psychology. Instead of getting upset, he started respecting her time more. He'd plan actual dates instead of expecting last-minute availability. He even started bragging about how independent his girlfriend was. Second, emotional boundaries. This is about not taking responsibility for his feelings while still being caring. Dr. Henry Cloud's research shows that people-pleasers actually create more relationship problems because they enable emotional immaturity. Here's what this looks like. You're not responsible for managing his mood when he has a bad day. You're not required to fix his social anxiety. You don't have to walk on eggshells because he's sensitive. I had this friend Jessica whose boyfriend would get pouty whenever she wanted to spend time with friends. She'd cancel plans to make him feel better. But she was actually reinforcing his manipulative behavior. When she finally set the boundary, "I understand you feel left out, but I'm not canceling my plans because of your feelings. You're welcome to work on this, but I won't manage your emotions." Everything shifted. At first, he tested the boundary dramatically, but when she didn't cave, he started dealing with his insecurity in healthier ways. Third, physical and sexual boundaries. Research from the Kinsey Institute shows that women who clearly communicate physical boundaries have 83% more satisfying intimate relationships. This isn't just about sex. It's about all physical touch and space. Maybe you need 20 minutes to decompress after work before physical affection. Maybe you don't like being touched when you're upset. These might seem small, but they're huge for building respect. When you communicate these boundaries clearly, you're teaching him how to love you in a way that feels good. The science of respect and boundary setting. There's something called the scarcity principle in behavioral psychology that explains why boundaries make men respect you more. Humans assign more value to things that aren't freely available. When you have no boundaries, you're telling someone your time and attention have no value because they can access it whenever they want. But when you set boundaries, you're communicating that you're valuable, and access to you is a privilege, not a right. This triggers investment bias. The more effort someone puts into something, the more they value it. Just between you and me, I've seen this play out hundreds of times. Women with no boundaries find themselves in situationships with emotionally unavailable men. But women with clear boundaries attract secure, emotionally mature men who appreciate what they bring. There's this woman, Maria, who used to let dates pick her up whenever with zero notice. She'd rearrange her schedule for their whims. Guess what she attracted? Guys texting at 11 p.m. to hang out, men canceling last minute, boyfriends treating her like an option. Then she started requiring 24 hours notice for dates. She stopped accepting last-minute invitations. She'd say, "That doesn't work for me, but I'm free Thursday at 7 p.m. if you'd like to make actual plans." Honestly, I was skeptical. But you know what happened? The low-effort guys disappeared, and she started attracting men who respected her time, planned thoughtful dates, and actually pursued her properly. The quality of her dating life improved dramatically because she treated herself like she was worth the effort. How to set boundaries without pushing him away. Here's where women get stuck. They understand boundaries are important, but fear seeming high maintenance. Let me ease your mind. If setting a reasonable boundary pushes someone away, they weren't right for you anyway. But I get wanting to communicate boundaries in a way that brings you closer. The key is delivery and timing. First, focus on what you need, not what he's doing wrong. Instead of, "You never consider my feelings," try, "I need us to check with each other before committing to weekend plans." One sounds like criticism, the other sounds like collaboration. Second, explain the positive outcome. "When we plan things together, I feel more connected to you and more excited about our time together." Third, be consistent. Most women set a boundary. The guy tests it, and they cave immediately. If you don't enforce your boundaries, you've made things worse because now he knows they don't mean anything. I could be wrong, but I think fear of being too much keeps most women stuck in relationships where they're not respected. But here's the brutal truth. If you have to shrink yourself to keep someone, you don't actually have them anyway. Your journey to self-respect starts now. At the end of the day, setting boundaries isn't about controlling people. It's about honoring yourself. It's recognizing that your needs and time matter just as much as everyone else's. When push comes to shove, relationships that can't survive your boundaries weren't healthy to begin with. And relationships that thrive when you set boundaries, those are the ones worth keeping. In a nutshell, boundaries aren't walls keeping people out. They're gates letting the right people in while keeping wrong people at a respectful distance. So here's what I want you to do. Think about one area where you need better boundaries. Pick just one small boundary to implement this week and commit to holding it consistently. I'd love to hear about your boundary setting experiences. Drop a comment below and tell me about a time when setting a boundary improved a relationship, or share what boundary you're planning to work on. If this video helped you see boundaries differently, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about building healthy relationships. Remember, you deserve relationships where you feel respected, valued, and heard. Don't settle for anything less.